knoll that I just showed you has an important spot in history in that General Miles and met Crazy Horse, and there was a battle on that butte. Several warriors were killed, several soldiers were killed. Crazy Horse was on his way to meet up with the group who had killed Custer, maybe it was General Miles, I think, and that met him there. Could have coming up in a pincher movement to try to, instead they ran into this other group that they were chasing. And then further on down, they crossed by the Clarks Fork River, and never really met again until after the battle. So it's kind of a unique thing. I walked around there once, years and years ago, with someone with a metal detector, and we did find an old shell with the primer on the outside of it and such, and we found a few things, bullets that had hit in the bluff and stuff, but it had been well picked through before we ever got there. It was a sort of situation where those hills have been known as that battle site for a long, long, long time. But anyway, we are heading into Clarks Fork Canyon, and we'll have some more information on that here in a minute. We're heading into just the beginning of Clarks Fork Canyon, which you'll get to see a lot of in this video. All of the layers are twisted and standing on end limestones and chuckwater sandstone in different colors and positioning. This is also the beginning of what is known as the Morrison Jeep Trail. It is currently closed. It has been since 2022, and as this video progresses, you'll see why. Basically, there's an area of switchbacks that climbs out of that canyon through a series of very sharp switchbacks where there's a landing you pull onto, and then you drive forward, then you drive backwards and landing, kind of a zigzag thing where you went up the mountain. Well, besides the water that came through the bottom, which you're going to see, water was coming off the top in 2022, and that road is now in some places only wide enough for a person to walk through. Currently, they're using mules. There is a ranch up there. They're using mules to get up the road to haul supplies in, because they can't even take ATVs up the road because the sections that are washed out are so narrow that you can't even take an ATV, which is believable because even in its heyday, it was barely wide enough for a Jeep. I mean, there were some areas that were pretty sketchy. So they keep saying that there'll be some repairs done to it, but we'll have to wait and see what they're actually able to do. Here's some more views of heading into the canyon. Start to see the layers standing up. You might ask why this is paved. Originally, this was going to be a road into Yellowstone Park until they just figured out it would be way too costly to get this road through. They ended up using another road, which we call the Dead Indian Hill Road, or they call it the Chief Joseph Scenic Highway now. But that and this road were kind of in competition for another access to the park from this side, and this one ended up getting canceled. So, and with good reason. When you get in here, you'll see there's just a lot of loose rock and a lot of cliff faces. All of this stuff was going to cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to make a road through this. And not only that, there was some issues with the stability of that endeavor, because you have limestone, sandstone, and you'll see these layers that are all twisted. Some of them erode really quickly, like where they actually put the switchbacks. I think in my time that I've been here, those switchbacks have been washed out, and I don't know, numerous times somebody's had to go back in and repair those switchbacks, because when the water comes down, it just washes everything out. And it comes down, behind this goes all the way up to 11,000 feet or so. So when it melts on top and comes down, it really starts to do a lot of erosion and damage, and it would be really hard to keep a road going up here. Pretty soon we'll come to the end of this pavement. The whole bottom portion of this road has been gone since 2022. Now apparently, through people who have contacted the Forest Service and such, they're allowing people, there's kind of a 2-track forming that will be on today that goes up along the bottom, and it's access to the end of the canyon. You still can't go up the switchbacks. Out Catherine's Road is out. Can you see up there? Some red rocks. Here's interesting. Here, Catherine, roll down your window and look at these fine animals out here. You want to stick this camera out? Look at them. Bighorn sheep. There's some big rams.
When I stop and think, I'm treasured by the King, the maker of everything I can.
River's moved quite a bit now. At one time there was even talk of here would be an example where the road used to go straight across here, and you can kind of see, whoops, out over there where it went this way and crawled up over the hill there. But the river used to be over there on the other side, and now the river came over here, so the whole road between here and there is gone. So they've kind of pieced together a 2-track going this way is the new road. Just what's going to be necessary for a while until they get the switchbacks fixed. There won't be many people probably want to come back here anyway, other than the ranch owner. The Clarks Fork River is pretty today and loud. We've been hearing some ice creaking and such. Here's an example where the old road, again, is just gone. If this is the established route, and went right across here, and the established route is now, well, I don't care how much ground clearance you have, you're not going to get across 30 feet of gap. So the new road goes this way, and we're gonna go that way. over here, you can see some of the planting road going up the side where they were looking at soil conditions and stuff, and you'll see a line moving diagonal across that field. That was one of the potential routes of taking the highway through here. And that's about where they stopped. They quit trying to get a highway through here. Apparently crossing that slurry. That hillside is sloughing and sloping and moving all the time, so it would be a horrible location for a highway. It would just continually have to be repaired, and it would keep sliding away. It was just one of the challenges that made them decide not to put a highway through here, which is good because now there's a Jeep road in here, and I like Jeep roads more than highways.
So since all the Jeep guys that do videos are always talking about what their snacks are and what they're cooking and all that, I just wanted to demonstrate that I am drinking my ta-da, great value alkaline water, which actually really does help get rid of a headache sometimes, probably because of the electrolytes in it. Anyway.
And they did not sponsor us or pay us to say that.
And I just also wanted to say that it's not smart water, because when we were hiking around in California, there were empty smart water bottles all over the place, and I decided that smart water doesn't work. So there's that.
Amount of material that moved through here, you can just see this whole field is a big slough. All of these rocks and stuff came down in 2022, and the water that was coming off here was powerful enough to rip out all traces of the road. So what we're driving on now is just people have kind of went along and thrown the big rocks to the side. There's been no heavy equipment in here at all, so this road is just being kind of restored, and because of that, it kind of looks like a river bottom of rocks. Vaguely see the trail where people have plotted their way through the biggest rocks. All this is fresh exposure, so it's kind of neat to see all the different colors and types of rocks and the stripes. Lots of stripes and beauty. Of course, I have rock hounds, so she wants to pick at them a little bit. So all of this is freshly broke loose and washed down here. You can see some of the edges are wore off them, so that means this isn't the first time this happened in this canyon. There's been a lot of times that this canyon's gone through this process of having all these rocks and dirt moved. I don't know if you can think about it, but how many millions of tons do you suppose got moved when the water levels were this high going across here? You know, in some areas, it's all the way across. You'll see driftwood piles and stuff. It's just amazing. What a beautiful day.
Out, didn't we?
We found out that it's frozen.
Frozen solid, apparently.
Yeah, the water was pretty deep through here. You would not be driving through that. At least 10 or 12 feet deep. just missed. Would have been wandering around aimlessly. Not lost. Wandering, but not lost.
This is interesting.
Again, you'll see a spot where the road used to be that is gone, and they've had to go around it. If you look carefully on the right in this video, you'll see the beginning of the switchbacks of the turnarounds. I think there's 5 or 6 on the bottom, and then there's like 13 of the other ones until you get over the top. But
Stuff of nightmares.
the stuff of nightmares. Catherine has been over it, I think, a couple of times, and it's not her favorite trail.
It's not.
And
I am not sad that we can't do it. It's not on our list.
She's not sad that it's
I
been
want it
taken
to
out.
be open, but I'm not sad that we can't.
This canyon contains a lot of memories for us. We've been up here a number of times with our kids. We were laughing on the way up here about one of the times a rattlesnake jumped at our dog as we were coming down the switchbacks. And the appropriate thing for the driver that was right near the snake is he jumped out. There were kids and other people walking down the trail looking at rocks, and he chopped its head off with a shovel he had because he was afraid somebody or somebody's dog was going to get bit by the snake. Well, my son had a fascination, and he ran and picked up the snake, and it started curling around his arm, which caused him to, in a panic, kind of whip it around and throw it, and it nearly wrapped around the neck of the guy who had chopped its head off, who was deathly afraid of snakes and was screaming like a little girl running up the hill.
If you look, you can see those are the switchbacks going right up there, and they go all the way up. They actually corner on that big rock up there. You actually end up going right around across from that notch and then up over the last 2 or 3 up to the top. But welcome to Clark's Fork Canyon.
It's interesting, if you walk up the canyon now, you can get to areas that you couldn't ever see before. The river has moved to the other side, and so there's some beautiful places you can see that were unviewable before.
What do you think of this, Catherine? It's windy. So what do you want to say? It's a beautiful canyon. A little windy today.
It is windy, but it's not like cold.
No.
It's not warm, but it's not cold.
No.
I'm doing an experiment by putting my actual windbreaker, which is super thin, over a warmer coat to see if that keeps me warm enough. And so far, so good.
We often see mountain goats back here, but today it was all bighorn sheep all day.
So where all that driftwood is piled up, you can kind of see, you'll see when I come around here, it's too windy for me to talk in the wind. But this fan behind me, all this material came out of here. And it went down and it must have blocked the river, which caused it to back up into that area there until the river forced its way through. So once the river forced its way through, of course, all this drained out. You see how much material came down. It was enough to plug the river and cause it to back up.
No. That was not fun. I barely could close the Jeep door. So
She got out to look at rocks,
I was like,
and the wind nearly carried her away, so she said no.
Even with the wind, it was an unbelievably gorgeous day in the 50s at the end of January. That is unheard of in this area.
This is all ice. There might be a way through right next to this tree. If you stay here, I'll tell you if it's worth your time or not. Fun, Catherine?
pretty.
The Bighorn sheep were further away from where they were when we came in, but they were still here. And many of you are wondering, Was Catherine looking for Bigfoot? Of course, she's always looking for Bigfoot.